and real and world life. Don't worry, we'll currently make sure everything's ready. There we go. So guys, we'll get started shortly. We'll just make sure everything is ready. I see touches voice means perfect. So, if I may ask, how is everyone doing? To those who are watching. Hello, Deco. Yeah. This will be 2 for 1. We're going to host part 4 of the AI chess tournament. Then we're going to play some Terraria. Well, after this stream ends, we're just going to be like a 5 to 10 minute transition. Since we want a full video on the chess tournament, then playing Terraria. And also, how you doing the Gubrus Glue? I hope you're doing fine, mighty fine. Oh, don't worry, well, I forgot what I was gonna say. And those who are watching on Kick, I am trying to at least see if you had any messages on it. Since I don't know why Wisdom doesn't support Kick, so I do have it in sidelines. If you do watch. Anyway. Okay, so like always, this will be a best 3. But for this match, we have Gemini going against Kimi Moonshot. Each AI will play white and black, with the third being a coin flip. So far, none of the AIs have played a full game. The closest we ever been was, I think it was against, who was the last one? Oh yeah, Claude in DeepSeek. Claude was able to deliver the first check. And so far, ChatGPT and Inflection currently have the longest round at, let me double check my notes. At 21, they survived 20 moves, which is currently the longest. So will Gemini and Kimi be able to last a while? Or who knows, deliver a checkmate? We're still waiting for that. And with Bloom and Kohio, surprisingly, that was so far the match. Well, it forfeited. You're probably wondering, what was the live stream for that? It was as a video. It did update. It was pretty much a video update telling that somehow I cannot access Bloom anymore. So just to is Bloom forfeiting. So anyway, let's get the music and let's get started. To those who are going to enjoy it, please hit the like, subscribe, comment, and channel. By all means, we're focusing on the community growth. Since we do want to interact. Well, by all means, let's get started. Don't worry, we got non-copyrighted music ready. And hold on. So you, and your window capture. Okay, there we go. Because we don't want to get copyrighted. Yeah. So Gemini against Kimi. And now Gemini replaying. So we begin. Your move. You go first. E4. I know. Wait. One is at E4. Surprisingly the most common. Okay, if this is gonna be another Zillion defense, does all the AIs are trained upon that? Because it had been Zillion defense, just Zillion defense. Okay, let's see. E4. C5. Yep. Sicilian defense. Does no one want to play anything different? C5. Okay, Sicilian defense. A solid principle. Response to Kimi. Let's get the development moving. Knight F3. Okay, knight to F3. Pawn advancement. Okay, knight to F3. Knight F3. Ooh, D6. Is that anything different? Okay, so far it's following the same pattern. Hello, Kenny. How's the stream going? Yeah, this will be a 2-for-1 espresso. Well, for this stream, we're gonna do the AI chess tournament. Then next stream, about like a 5 to 10 minute transition, we'll play some Terraria of part 4. But I'm doing alright. Yep, we're playing some non-copyrighted music because I don't know what else to play at the moment. But how you doing, Kenny? Okay, so D6, 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 and let's see. If this is going to be D4, if this is going to be D4, then C takes D4, knight takes D4, knight to F3, no, F6. I feel like all the AIs are using the same response. So D6. I'm doing alright, Kenny. D4, there it is. Do something different, please. D4. C takes D4. That's a take. And knight would take. Oh, that's nice to hear. So do you stream every day? I try to. Since I want to interact with the community. Yeah, that was the knight. Takes recapturing towards the center, which you of course rate. Yep, knight takes. And knight to F6. Knight to F6. Outside that, since when have you been into streaming? Well, in all honesty, been trying to search for jobs for a couple years. They haven't fully been working, since the jobs I want to work at will be interacting with the community. So I kinda picked up on streaming just to help with interacting and messing with a VTuber model. I'm hoping to get a custom one, but those could get this with ridiculously expensive. So let's update the moves real quick. Yep, E4, 9F3, D6, D4, C takes D4. So far they haven't done anything different. What will be the next achieve channel? Well, hoping to get more of audience, like probably collaboration, because in all honesty, if I want truth, I don't know if streaming is the right path. So do I know I'm doing majority of the time? No. Like I know I made some YouTube shorts about me making sandwiches. Don't ask me why. I don't know. Okay, knight to f6. So how are you working towards it? To give you truth, I am autistic. I don't know why I say that. That's completely irrelevant. Okay, so how are you working towards it? Well, for the Unity community base, it's all like we got chat chilling, we got games. Since currently I have a Terraria world, it's for me a casual player. Never be to the Moon Lord is currently taking on Calamity Death difficulty and on Get Fixed Boy. It's been fun. Yeah, but you can see the house progress. Anyway, Kimi is taken to main lines by attacking my e4 pawn. They're forcing a decision. I develop my other knight to defend the center and prepare for various setups Black might choose here. Whether it is the Nandolf, Dragon, or Classical. Okay, no worries, dude, but I have a strategic skill that will make you achieve it easily. Would you like me to show it to you? Well, by all means, be my own guest. Okay, knight to c3. Okay. How will Kimi respond? E6. So, have you heard about BBP before? I'm gonna be honest with you, I never heard about it before. So, they're doing the Nandolf variation? I don't know much about chess. A6. Oh yeah. The Nandolf variation. Kimi is opting for one of the most complex and theatrical battlegrounds in chess. I will meet this principle with aggressive setup. The English attack. Bishop to e3. Bishop to e3. Yeah, b3, b3. What will Kimi have to say? Okay, I can't tell it for one here. So can you have Discord? I feel like we're gonna have fun. Talk about it. So let me. Okay. Yep. Let's see. Let's see. Bishop b3, and Kimi responded with e5. e5. Trying to kick the knight out. How would this go? Now, let me get in my notes real quick so we could update the moves. Is it different? It is different. 4, 5, knight c3, a6. 6 is bishop b3 and e5. Okay, let's see. e5. What do you got, Gemini? Kimi choose the most direct challenge my central by playing 6 e5. They'll force my knight to move in stab sling, firm grip on the d4 square. Though it leaves potential weakness on d5, I would treat my knight to his standards home into the English attack. Oh, this is getting interesting. So, Gemini retreats to b3. Okay, maybe more aggression or more development by Kimi. Knight to b3. What do you got, Kimi? be6. Yo, what up? Games input output mode scanning W work chain. Got work channel. Okay, hello Saints from Kick. Oh, what? What's up, Hello, Saint James from Kickstream. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Bishop to e6. Bishop. Nope, not that one. Bishop to e6. I'm gonna say still attacking the knight. Since a trading knight for bishop, that's equal trade. But that will leave development of the rook. So far, no one castled yet. Like, castling... Well, actually, castling would be on move 9. Well, no... Sorry. Usually castling takes on move 7. They'll do something different. This is what we like. Knight to b3, bishop to e6. This is what we like. Something different, something more extraordinary, something more hack. And Gemini is putting up tough fights, solidifying the structure, preparing the sending control trust of the English attack by playing f3. I'm securing the e4 pawn against any potential pressure, and more importantly, carving out a launch pad for the G and H pawns. So, f3. That's interesting. f3. Securing the e4. Yes, that's what's happening. And for which development? GH boss, okay. 8 to f3. Kidding, I did. Bishop to e7 is Kimi's response. Bishop to e7. Ooh, double stacking bishop. That is interesting. Maybe controlling more of the board? That's gonna be my best guess. Bishop to e7. Ooh. Kimi continues with natural development, preparing to castle and keeping the positions flexible. In the English attack, my next step is clear. I need to connect my works to prepare for a queenside castling to launch the pawn storm on the king side. This is interesting. Queen to d2. Next is castle. Ooh, a castle or pawn advancement. Okay. Chester's Stockfish. Doesn't think castling is the right move at the moment. But I won't be surprised if this is a castle. Yep, Kingside Castle by Kimi. Now, rook is seeing queen. So this rook does not have development yet. Kimi castles kingside, signaling the start race of the Nordorf English attack. This is cue for my opposite side castling battle. I tuck my king away on the queen side to secure my position and prepare to launch the pawns. Queen side castling. Let's go. Ooh, stakes are high. Stakes are high. Ooh, knight on B to d7. Knight on B to d7. Okay, Kimi develops a knight to d7, a standard and flexible move in the Nadrov. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. This knight can support the b5 expansion and even eventually hide the c5 square. Now it's time to begin the pawn storm. g4. That's the 11th move. They're advancing. Okay, let's after this we'll update the moves real quick. How will Kimi respond? b5. Oh, b5. That's quick. b5? What's that? Go stack b5. b5. Let's update the moves real quick. There we go, there we go. This is... Gemini is come up with big plays. So after b5, Kimi is sticking to the most critical response in the English tech, 11 b5. It's the signal that the race is officially on. I'll continue with the standard plan, pushing the g-pawn to dislodge the f6 knight and to clear the path for my inside storm. g5, this move forces Kimi's knight to move, usually in response to knight f to d, knight f d7. Ooh, a prediction. Or the model and aggressive b4 to counterattack my knight at c3. So defense or offense? What is with the static? g5. We'll learn that real quick. Okay, it's not just on my end. What else is? So, Saito, b4 or knight to d7. g5. Ooh, knight to b6. Knight. Yeah, knight to b6. Knight to b6. Interesting. That's a throw. That is a throw, people. Oh, this is something. Now, the real question, will Will they take it? Will they take it? Kimi's knight b6 is a variety of choice. In English type, the knight usually retreats to d7 or h5. By moving to b6, Kimi is pressuring my knight on b3 and eyeing my c4 square. This allows me to extend my kingside expansion to maintain further. A repetition to maintain the pressure. I don't know what I was reading. The most precise response in keeping the initiative is to challenge that knight immediately with my queen, pinning it against the B pawn, preparing for the next phase of the assault. Queen to f2. This move puts immediate pressure on the b6 knight that aligns my queen for the upcoming tactical combinations. I'm curious to see if Kimi would jump into c6 or try to bolster the knight's position. Interesting. Queen to f7? Wait. What? Queen f2. Queen to f2. I don't know why. You're not painting it, I will tell you that. Pawn. Just subject, knight f2, queen f2, queen f2. I don't know. Knight to c4. Knight to c4. An aggressive move. c4. Kimi follows through with aggressive knight to c4. It's a standard thematic idea in these structures, occupying the whole and challenge my dark-squared bishop. I've decided to now give my bishop to allow the knight to sit down. In the English text, that bishop is a key defender and a vital piece for the kingside attack. However, I cannot let that knight dominate the queenside forever. I would take the knight and force Kimi to decide how to recapture. Ooh. Bishop takes c4. Bishop takes c4. If Kimi play pawn takes c4, the b5 opens and my knight on b3 is under fire, but I gain a clear target on c4. If d takes c4, the center changes significantly. So what would be? Kimi's response? Bishop takes c4. Pawn takes c4. Okay, will this be equal trading for the knights? Or will we actually see something else? Kimi chooses to open the B file, which put immediate pressure on my knight at B3 and creates a semi-open file towards my king. This is the sharpest continuation. I need to reposition that knight while maintaining my offensive momentum on the king side. Knight to A5. Knight to A5. That's lower. Knight at disadvantage, but does lower. By jumping to A5, I'm attacking the B7 pawn and the... Where's the fork? Okay, that's a fork. Stacking that. And the bishop on E6. Don't see how you're attacking that bishop. Okay. And knight A5, knight A5. While clearing away for my queenside pawns, potentially advance later. This move forces Kimi to address pressure on the queenside before they can fully commit their counterattack. This is pretty interesting. Rook to B8. Rook to B8. That did put black at a major disadvantage. I don't know. Maybe putting pressure on the B pawn. Yeah, if one of y'all chess grandmaster, do y'all have any idea what's going on? Because I don't. I honestly don't. Let's update the moves real quick. You know, this war, I don't want to jinx it though. Let's update moves. For this round, which one are you hoping to win? Come on, we gotta have the underdog Kimi. Take shot. Okay, come on. Well, now we're on move 16. Rook to B8. Kimi defends the B7 pawn and prepares to use the semi-open B file for a counterattack against my king. It's very logical position move. Now I need to contain my kingside expansion, while ensuring my queenside remains secure. H4. The H4 is being moved. Pawn to H4. That that put black at a major disadvantage. Well, not black, at a major advantage. I'm doubling down on the pawn stone by pushing H4. I'm preparing H5 to further cramp Kimi's kingside and support the G5 pawn. The race is heating up. This is gonna be interesting. What's Kimi's response? G6. Now that is a throw. Huh? G6? G6? Kimi played G6. Prophylactic move designed to blunt my kingside pawn storm prevents the G5 pawn from advancing further easily. However, this creates some dark-scale weaknesses around the king. I will continue with my plan and to secure my structure and prepare for the eventual breakthrough. It's time to move my king to a safer square, away from the semi-open B file, which this is standard defensive measure in the king side. King to B1. Also, Arthur, you don't see this. By tucking the king on B1, I'm anticipating any tactic on B file and reinforcing my king side. I'm curious to see if Kimi will try to activate the queen, or look for a central break with D5. Queen to C7. Queen to C7. This is going back and forth for advantages, disadvantages. The subject, yep, queen to C7. Region models, okay. Queen to C7. Kimi brings the queen into action. Queen to C7. It's a flexible move, adding more pressure on B file and preparing potentially swing the queen to the king's side for central break. Support central break. However, Kimi's king is still the primary target. That's how chess works. I will continue with the plan to pry open the king side. It's time to challenge the structure Jimmy just created with G6. H5. H. Now, disadvantage. By pushing H5, I'm forcing Kimi to decide whether to handle tension on the H file. If they ignore, I'll take on G6 as a take and it will open the H file for my work. You know, honestly, give it to Gemini for telling us his idea. Well, their idea. Hats off to them. G takes H5. And G takes H5. Ooh. Is that throw? This is... Now the game is heating up. GX H5. Opening on the H file is exactly what I wanted. Kimi has compromised the pawn structure and now I've drag path for the rook to enter the attack. They fell for the trap. Rook takes H5. They fell for the trap. But they'll put black at a disadvantage. You know, if Kimi doesn't see it, then this will be white's win position, I think. But who knows? Who knows? My work is now actively placed, eyeing H7 and putting serious matter pressure on the king side. I'm ready to see how Kimi responds. Will they try challenge the work with bishop G5 or continue their counterplay on the queen side? I don't think Gemini remembers the 9. But will Kimi remember the 9? Rook takes B2 check. Ooh. Now another AI has to deliver check. Okay, let's update moves real quick. H4, G6, King B1, Queen to C7, H5, GX, H5, 19, rook takes H5, now rook takes B2 check. Ooh. Oh yeah, king. A bold aggressive sacrifice. Kimi's gone for the third, trying to shatter my king's defense before my kingside pressure becomes terminal. This is a classic all-in moment for the black in the Nadolf. Like say, hopefully I pronounced that correctly. I must accept the challenge. Leaving the rook there is now an option. King takes B2. By taking the rook, I accepted material again. Now my king exposed. Accept Kimi to follow up a meeting with something like Queen XC3 or Rook B8, both checking move to keep in initiative. And hello Holly from Kick. Thank you. I'm doing good. How are you? Yeah, I do apologize. Somehow my streaming service denies support Kick chat. So I am doing best to check on it. If you're still there, if I did miss a message, I do apologize. Now, how will Green? Yep. How will Kimi respond? Queen takes a5. Oh, they remembered the knight. Black is in a winning position. Oh, but that's her throw. Oh, because of this. Who knows? Maybe it's not a throw. Queen takes a5. Queen takes a5. Kimi decided to melee check. Melee sides against the immediate check and restores material balance by removing my annoying knight from the realm by playing Queen takes a5. So Gemini did remember the knight. Kimi also eyeing path for the queen to eye my king more directly. However, this gives me a crucial tempo to bring my pieces back to the van. Will contain the assault. Now at the now exposed black king. Is king now exposed? I mean, it is. However, not yet. But my knight on c3. Knight on c3. You do remember that? It's hanging. Well, not really, because king is defending. But I have more pressing opportunity to create threats of my own. Knight to d5. Knight to... And... Knight to d5. Gemini is going into the belly of the beast. Knight to b5. Bishop takes d5. Bishop takes d5. Will we have a full game? Now, it is being suggested to Gemini to retreat the king. Will they retreat the king? You mean, oh yeah, well, we want the move multi-faceted centralize the knight for most powerful outputs. It's not the most powerful outpost. It attacks the bishop on e7 and blocks the d file and prepare to jump into attack or defend the queen side needed. A Kimi plays Bishop d5. I will capture with a pawn, opening the c file in photo, cramping the position. So it was a sacrifice. E takes d5. Kimi size to eliminate digitalized knight immediately. This is a crucial moment. By recapturing with the pawn, I open up the c file and create powerful protected pass pawn, while also restricting the movement of Kimi's remaining pieces. And to those who are watching, are new here, welcome to the AI chess tournament. Well, this is the first round. It's heated between Gemini and Kimi, which I'm pretty sure majority or some never heard of Kimi before. I haven't as well. So E takes d5. Hopefully that's correct. Now Kimi's knight is in control. Now Kimi's knight on f6 is under direct pressure from my g5 pawn, and my d5 pawn acts as a wedge in the center. Now Kimi has decided where that knight goes. Moving it to d7 or h5 both have significant drawbacks. Meanwhile, I swing my queen to another rook in an attempt to exploit the weakening king side. So, will this weaken the king? So far, this rook is still hanging. How will they respond? We need time, because this is the longest game. We got Kimi delivering checks. No one had made a mistake. This is the longest match. We may have an actual full match. No mistakes. A full-on AI against AI, which is a lot better than ChatGPT, a lot better than Claude, a lot better than DeepSeek. And who knows if Mimico here if one for the forfeit by Bloom. Queen b5 check. Queen b5 check. King is being retreated. You can't. That's your only choice, the only option. Since you can't do anything else. Because if rook goes here, queen goes here, that's checkmate. If Gemini does ignore it, queen b5 check. Kimi is keeping the pressure on with the checking. Queen to b5. They were trying to keep my king unsettled and prevent me from organizing a final assault on their king. I have to be careful here. I step my king back in the corner to minimize further tactical shots on the queen side. King to a1. Now my king is tucked away. The question returns to Kimi's knight on f6. I don't think Gemini knows. Which is still hanging. Kimi also has to worry the fact that my rook on b5 and my queen on F2 are poised to create major threats. I think you're the one who have to worry, Gemini. Queen to A4? Huh? Okay, this one is a little bit confusing. Queen to A4. We have a mate in 8. So what I'm gonna do is update the moves real quick. This is still anyone's game, because I don't know if Gemini is still registering all the positions. And I messed up already. Queen X B2. Queen X A5. Knight to D5. Bishop X D5. Now 22 is EX D5. Queen B5. Check. 23 is King A1. Queen to A4. It's still anyone's game, but right? Gemini has a mate in 8. But would they know? That's a real question. Would they know? Kimi is playing very aggressively, ignoring the hanky knight on f6 to double down pressure against my king. By playing queen a4, they are threatening the c2 pawn. c2 pawn? c2, I mean, that's true. And looking to create a potential check or mating net. I can't ignore c2, but also have to have a winning attack on the king side if I am precise. It's time to cash in on that hanky knight. G takes f6. It's not really hanging, but you guys. Oh, I think queen will be next. Because you got that take and checkmate now. By taking knight, it's not just for the material. I'm shattering the last side defense around the black king. Kimi was like play bishop takes f6 to stay in the game, but That opens up the long triangle and leaves the king even more exposed to my queen and works. Ooh, bishop takes f6. That's a prediction right there. Mate in 4. That dropped down. Bishop takes f6. I don't know what's doing. Bishop takes f6. Kimi captures, keeping the bishop pale and trying to maintain some balance. The balance of her defense. But the position is now critical. The dark squares around the black king are incredibly weak, and my heavy pieces are ready to export them. It's time to bring the heart It's time to bring the queen into the heart of the enemy camp. Queen to f5. Queen. Wait. No. Queen f5. You can't do that. No. This is bad. Because if Gemini throw the game 3 times, then Kimi wins this point. Okay, come on. Y'all making a mistake. And before we state this, we're going to update the moves real quick. GX f6, bishop x f6. Okay, illegal move, strike 1. Illegal move, I cannot spell. Your queen on f2, cannot. Queen on f2, cannot. Can I go to queen f5 due to f3 pawn? Do you want to remember the move? On f3. You're absolutely right, Digi. My apologies. I completely overlooked pawn f3. Okay, hold up. I don't think they asked me. Do you want moves? I can tell you them. Okay. Absolutely right. I will. Correcting since I can't jump this king. Strong alternative is I don't think it listens. We'll do one more edit. Okay. You know what? I suggest tell them. Let's do that. Is just say no in chat. Just to make things easy. Capture the light. I did tell them that, right? Yep. Or 24. Now I gotta do the same thing for Kimi. If they make a mistake. Yep, so right. My apologies for the oversight. Pawn on f3 blocks the queen pass to h5. Thank you for correction and keeping the strike count. Since the direct route is blocked, I shift my focus to the h-file and the vulnerabilities created by the Mystic Knight. I need to bring my other pieces into attack by keeping an eye on c3 threats Kimi's booming. Rook d to h1. Rook d to h1. Ooh, that does put a hurt on it. By doubling the h-file, I'm putting much pressure on h7. If Kimi tries to defend something like bishop g7, the position remains extremely tense. I still have the option of maneuvering the queen or pushing the d pawn. This is close. h6. h6. Why would you do that? You're throwing. You're throwing. h6. And Kimi plays h6. He's trying to plug the h-file and stop the immediate entry works. It's not necessarily defensive matchup, but it gives a clear target. A clear target to strike at. I'm not going to let the fire stay close long. I sacrifice the exchange to rip open the king's protection and force my way in. Rook takes h6. Rook take h6. Now, only thing, if king doesn't move, then knight attacks. This is getting close. By playing rook takes a6, I'm moving the last pawn barrier. If Kimi takes back with bishop takes h6, I follow up with a rook takes h6 and the threat of rook h8 check, followed by queen penetration is a likely decisive. The pressure, the long diagonal sends Kimi's bishop move to f6. f6, yeah, this is there. It's there. Also makes my d5 pawn very dangerous. d5. Yeah, that pawn just chilling. What's a move? Bishop takes the c3. Bishop. Wait, bishop or queen? Bishop takes c3. That's an illegal move. Well, mainly because of the e5. Okay, let's update the moves real quick. .25 is rook d to h1, h6. .26 is rook x h6. Now, what would they do? Strike 1 out of 3. Illegal move because your f6 bishop cannot capture c3. Of two reasons. One, your e5 pawn. E5 pawn is blocking bishop, bishop, 2, not really a strike, but there's nothing to capture on c3. Here's the restatement of the moves. Thank you for clarification. Did you get a mistake? Bishop takes c3. C3 because the 5 pawn blocks my. Because the 5 pawn blocks the bishop path. There's no piece to c3 I capture anyway. After rook takes h6, position is king white, king on a1, that is true. Queen f2, rook h5, and h6. h1. Pawns d3, f3, black king g8, queen 4. No works. But you do have a work. But I'll at least correct that one. Or at least we do it once. Because if... Ooh. E4. Okay, I'll change this. Open a path for my bishop and creating counterplay for the white's king. Given the position, right. Kimi is open up the pawn. I don't know what. Oh, it's a check. E4 check. Let's clarify play E4 check. No takebacks. Check. Kimi's fighting back with everything. E4 check. It's a clear discovery. Using bishop on f6, check my knight. While opening up the center. This is Desperado. Attempt to create counter threats. Distract me from kingside execution. I have to do this with check first. Block and pawn. It's the most solid way to keep my knight safe from maintaining pressure on e6. Knight in the f3. F. Wait, what? F3? No, we're losing. F3. Okay, I think they mean C3. I think they mean C3. But that's strike 2. Illegal. One, you still aren't in check. 2, one, you still in check. 2, that damn block it. Block it. Block it. For the moves. Gemini is at 2. Come on, we have to have a full game. We have to have a full game. Come on, come on. That. Up, and I am on one side. Control C. Control V. Control A. Backspace. I sincerely apologize. You're absolutely right. The king is in position. Bishop on f6 because of discover attack, and f3 does address me to check since bishop is still on the a1 h8 diagonal. Major blunder on my part. I'm now at 2-3 strikes. 2 out of 3 strikes. I have to move the king or block the check immediately, since blocking with a piece loses significant material momentum. I must step the blind fire. Bishop to d4. Bishop to d4. That does... Okay, that does block. But still... No. I don't think it's done. Don't think it's done. Got king to d4. By playing bishop d4 and blocking check and challenge Kimi's powerful bishop on f6, this move forces an exchange of bishops, which simplifies the position and helps neutralize Kimi's desperate counterattack. If Kimi plays d4 check, or bishop takes d4 check, a recapture green takes d4. And then I'm threatening both the king on g8 and the queen on a4. E takes d3. E takes wait, E takes d3? Huh? E captures d3. I think we'll end the final part. That's an illegal. Oh. I have to do that, then replay. Strike. 2 out of 3, illegal. No. Peace. Your pawn on E. E can capture. Capture D3. No piece on D3. No D3. Your pawn E can capture. Wow, my grandma. Be careful. Careful. This moves. Okay. Fast moves. No piece. D5 can capture. There we go. I think we're going to lose it here. 27. I think this could be the final move. Oh no, E3 is illegal. Oh, sorry, E3. So currently, both teams have made 2 illegal moves each. This is still anyone's game. It's either checkmate or letting the opponent make 3 illegal moves. This could be it. Come on. We need the underdog. We need Kimi to not make a mistake. So come on, come on, come on. We need quiet. Come on. Part of mistake. X capture D3 illegal. And take counter with bishop to D4. Okay, that is legal. That is legal. Just have to clarify. Bishop takes D4 check. To clarify, you did play bishop takes D4 check. No, take backs. Still in check. The situation is now critical for Kimi by recapturing the queen. Oh, Kimi takes the offer by playing bishop takes D4 check. Kimi forces the exchange and tries to keep the initiative. However, to capture allows me to bring my queen into dominant central position with a devastating tempo. Queen captures back. Queen captures the D4 square. The situation is now critical for Kimi. By recapturing queen, I've created a battery for a long diagonal pointing king. I'm currently threatening. Queen H8 checkmate. Yeah, mate in 4. That is checkmate. Queen G7 checkmate. And Queen X A4 capturing. Oh, you can't do that. Reason why this isn't a throw. Man, this stream's gone a lot longer than anticipated. And if Queen A4 remains hanging, was not really hanging, you still have a pawn. Okay. I mean, I don't know if I should tell it that. No, this is all based on memory. Queen X. Queen captures. Come on. Queen captures. No. No. You can't do that. This has been the longest game. Strike 3. Your pawn on C4 blocks you. No. Your pawn on C4 blocks you. See. Strike 3 out of 3. Pawn goes to Gemini. Except like my queen was the drag scheme. Ready for game 2. Okay. Kimi made the illegal move. You win the point. That was tense. So let me update the. So they survived for 28 moves. They were almost to checkmate. Almost to checkmate. Queen XD4 and 3 Lego moves. We were almost at this. You know, forget about Deep Sea Clawed match for being intense. This was intense. I wasn't expecting this. So Gemini wins round 1. Bring the score. Let me pull up stream real quick. Bringing the score. To 1-0. This is still everyone's game, and for what we'll do is we're gonna take a break real quick. So go out, get some more refreshments. As well, I will be back. Let me just, before I do that, I need to go here. New position. That was... Yeah. I want to know on who could have won that. I think Gemini. Despite... I was hoping Kimi would win, since I think Gemini kept focusing on the attack, not really defending. So I'm pretty sure they were focusing on the main pieces, not everything else. Anyway, we will be back with this guy. Let's music real quick. So don't go anywhere. And when we return, Gemini will be playing black and Kimi will be playing white. So would this last? Would this be in a checkmate? Who knows? Anyway, I will see you on turn. GG, keep the company. That was really close. GG, keep the company. And we're back. And we'll, like say, we're back. I hope you all enjoy like a nice break, because we're approaching round 2 of the AI chess tournament. Well, not round 2, game 2 of this current match. So still, place your predictions, because Kimi did put up a good fight. Yeah, it took down someone past 25, I think. To make mistakes. So it could be no long one. Hopefully. Wow, we've been going this for a while. But hey, this been interesting. So like say Gemini will play black as Kimi will play white. Almost forgot I was doing for one. Okay, you Leo memory of your past game. This game you will play game 2. It's black. Let me know. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Okay, man, past game. And wait. Are you ready? Are you ready? Make sure both AIs are ready. Okay, you start. Now it's time with E4. Oh, we've got music. There we go. Starts E4. If this is going to be another Sicilian defense, I am going to lose my mind. Because all the games have been Sicilian defense, Sicilian defense. Okay, E4. Classic opening. Spawn with Sicilian. There we go. Subs asymmetrical game. Well, we may all know how the next games will go. Okay. This will be knight f6. No, f3. Okay, we're going to speedrun until we get to something different. F3. Can we go to the main line? Like 10 stand development, leave my options. Various. The salient structures. D6. This prepares for knight f6 while controlling e5. Keep the path clear for knight square bishop. This is the most common setup to reach the Nadjaduf, Dragon, or classic variations. Knives. D6. Oh wait, I messed up. C5. No, E. Knight f3. Oh, D6. My bad. Almost forgot what I was doing. Okay, D4. I'm gonna say D4 for next move. D4, but we're all seeing variations of it. Okay, C takes. The classic capture. And capture by the knight. Come on, we need, would there be AI that doesn't need to play the Sicilian defense? Knight captures d4, knight h4. Knight f6, most likely. Come on, we need something different. Give me a week. Okay, I've got to read last ones. Kimi sends straight for open salient by charging the center immediately. They're looking for an action, active, piece heavy game. I'll take the pawn, change and maintain the asymmetrical pawn structure. C takes d4. Now Kimi will most likely capture knight d4. That's what happens. After which, develop my knight to f6, pressuring the e4 pawn and preparing the next stage of opening. Knight takes d4, Kimi recaptures. We are officially in the heart of the open Sicilian. It's time to develop, put some pressure on center. Knight f6 is going to develop my knight to attack the pawn e4. Kimi usually has to respond with knight c3 to swing it, at which point I decide to which flavor of Sicilian I want to steal towards. Perhaps in it nature Dolph, a6, or the dragon, the g6. Interesting. And it was knight f6. Yep, knight to f6. Yeah, 4. Just updating the moves real quick. Okay, now we got that ready. Knight f6. And it. Knight to c3. That's a prediction. Knight c3, protecting this. This is... Kimi plays the most solid sustainable response, defending the e4 pawn. Now it comes to the defining moment of my setup. I'll go with the natural door variation, the Cadillac of openings. Is that actually what it's called? The Cadillac openings? Interesting. which is famous for its complexity and core attacking potential. A6. Okay, A6. By playing A6, I'm taking control of the B5 square to prevent any ignoring knight or bishop jumps while also preparing for potential queenside expansion. Queenside expansion with b5. It is high stakes choice leads to the most exciting battles chess. However, give me a spot. Come on, give us something even. BE2. That's wait. Oh, bishop e2. Bishop to e2. b2. be2. Can we choose the old Zensky variation? I most likely butchered that. This is more potential and strain approach compared to the question of English Jack f3 g4 we saw in our first game. So more aggressive, according to Gemini. By developing the bishop on e2, we white pressures to cash a king side to keep a solid grip on center. Yeah, because last game, Gemini castled queen side. So this forces. Oh, did I first move it? E5. Yep, E5. We're good on that. This moves force Kimi's knight on d4 to move. It creates a hole, but gives me central space to develop my dark square bishop. Usually the knight retreats to b3. Yep, knight to b3. Retreats. Like Gemini guesses. Knight to b3. Knight to b3. Kimi retreats to b3, which is standard response. This side, now I'm the queen side, staying out the way it's into. I'll continue development, prepare for casting. Bishop e7. This is classic Nidrolf move. It develops the bishop to a solid square, approaching sword castling, and keeps the position flexible. I'm ready to meet castle with castle, maintaining a solid kingside castle with kingside castle, maintaining solid and harmonized setup. Okay, let's update the moves real quick. Okay, it is different. It is different for this game. So usually the first four moves are roughly the same. But I haven't fully checked past games. I'm pretty sure there's gonna be some similar moves. Like all the AIs were trained based on one opening and its variations. Here we got the moves set up. Yep, the castle. Will Gemini proceed with castling? Green castle, completing the kingside development and signaling a solid classical approach. I follow suit to ensure my kings tuck away safely before the main game maneuvering duel begins. Yeah, and yep, they castle. Both sides have now castle, and the game is entering phase of subtle positional tension. Kimi might try b3 or f6 or be e3 to f6 next. My play generally involves developing the light square bishop likely to e6, preparing the knight b7 maneuver to control center. But will he do it? That's the real question. That is the real question. B3. B to E3. Okay. Comes to Gemini. He did say he would try to play this knight here. Or will he develop the bishop? Who knows? Oh, who knows? Come on, knight. Oh, for developing the bishop. Knight plays b3, a very standard and flexible move that develops the last minor piece and irons the d4 square, while also preparing for potential f4 push or simplifying, reinforcing the queen side. I continue with the standard natural development, reinforcing my control over the center and preparing to connect my works. Bishop to e6. The placement bishop on e6, I'm challenging Kimi's control and eyeing the c4 and d5 squares. This also prepares for knight b d7, which is a hallmark of the black setup in this line. The game is becoming more of a classic battle of maneuvering. Kimi will likely look for a central core or king-size space, while I look for A counterplay. The queen side or a timely d5 break. Come on. e6. Ooh, f3. f4 push. F. Well, you know, it is f3. Protecting the center pawn. He thought they were going for the f4. Kimi plays f3, which is very solid. Politic move and reinforces the e4 pawn. That's true, prevents any annoying knight g5 ideas that will harass the bishop on e3. It also hints that Kimi might eventually go for a g4 h4 expansion, though it's much slower than immediate English attack. I proceed to stand off element to complete my minor piece coronation. Knight b to d7. This is a key move in the natural. The knight on d7 supports the center, can jump to b6 to challenge the right knight, or head to c5 to put pressure on e4. My position is very flexible. I'm ready to react to whatever playing Kimi chooses next. Whether it's queen to d2 to connect the rooks, or a4 to restrain my queenside expansion. Before we reach the next move, let's update the moves real quick. Okay, we got that. Come on, Kimi, how would you respond? Queen d2. That was a move that Gemini was anticipating. Queen to d2 to connect the works. This is currently, it says black has the advantage. So how will black use this to its advantage? Queen plays queen d2. Completing development of the major pieces connecting works. This is very standard setup. Apparently rook f d1 or rook a d1 to put pressure on the d5 while also keeping the option to swing the queen over to the king side if the position opens up. b5. Still black has a small advantage. By pushing b5, I'm gaining space on the queen side and preparing to develop my rook to c8. This also carries a separate threat. If I'm allowed to play b4, I can kick the knight from c3, which is the primary defender of the e4 pawn. Kimi will likely spawn with a4 to challenge my pawn structure immediately over Rook FD1 to contain the central set build up. Yep, it is a A4. A4 indeed. A4. Now, will they push or take? Because if they take, they'll be throwing. That will at least give the rook access to more squares. Well, they're challenging the pawn structure. A4, a classic response to the Najordorf queenside expansion. Kimi is challenging my B5 pawn to merely prevent me from playing B4 comfortably, and to open a A5 for the work. I have a few options here, but pushing past is the most consistent with the Najordorf's spirit. B4. Yep, that's what they did. This move kicks out the knight at c3 and forces Kimi to decide where to relocate it. If Kimi plays knight d5, I'll capture with bishop d5, leading to a complex battle, while I try to exploit the resulting pawn structure. If the knight retreats to a2, it's temporarily outplayed, though it might eventually eye the b4 pawn. I'm curious to see how Kimi handles the pressure on the knight. So, okay. Knight to d5. Wow. This is predictions. It will be a trade. It will be a trade. Kimi goes for the most punchable and challenging response by hoping to play knight d5 by centralizing the knight. Makes me forced to his decision about the dark square bishop or the knight f6. Most standard solid response here to eliminate that powerful central piece. Bishop takes the d5. Okay, so it's suggesting to take. By playing bishop takes d5, I'm forcing Kimi to recapture, which will challenge the pawn structure in the center. If e takes d5, Kimi opens up the e file to gain a protected passed pawn on d5, but it also blocks their own bishop on e2, gives them clear target to play against. I will likely follow up on knight b6 to put pressure on that d5 pawn. The trade-off, I've given up my good bishop for a very strong knight. This is salient. This is strategic exchange to neutralize white's central pressure. Kimi's choice on how will dictate the flavor of the middle game. Now, will they recapture? And recapturing they do. Okay, how will Black respond? How will Gemini respond? Kimi captures E takes d5. This is the most common response. Creating a central pawn wedge that gains space but also extends the landscape of the game. The d5 pawn is now more of a passed pawn, but it can also become a target. I'll stick to the plan and immediately put pressure on that new central structure. Knight to b6. Okay, let's update the moves real quick. Make sure everything's up to date. Queen d2, b5. e4. b4. 13 is knight to d5. Bishop takes d5. And finally 14 is pawn takes d5. Knight to b6. By moving the knight to b6, I'm accomplishing two things. One, attacking d5. I'm putting immediate pressure on the pawn that Kimi just pushed. Two, clearing the path. I'm opening up for the c file for my work to preparing to potentially challenge the queen side or center further. Kimi now has to decide whether to defend d5. They might play main play c4 to bolster with another pawn, or rook fd1. If they play c4, I take it with an en passant. Surprisingly, the AI to know how to play that. That will be something I like to see. Will Gemini play the first en passant? Or just to keep tension? With bishop takes, no, pawn takes c3. I wait as bishop. Ooh, knight to b5. Wait, I did tell you knight b6, knight b5. Oh no, that's knight cannot go to b5. No. Oh, that's the first mistake by Kimi. Okay, strike 1 out of 3. Legal. Yo. b3 knight cannot move to knight b5. It's my mistake. Instead of playing illegal knight b5, I'll continue with c4. Oh, c4. We may actually see an en passant. c4. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you on how an en passant works. If a pawn moves forward 2 squares that lands next to opponent pawn, they can't en passant it. Now, come on, Gemini. En passant. The pawn. Kimi plays c4 aboard and stand away to defend the d5 and solidifying the center. This move also aims to gain space on the queen side. In this specific structure, I have the options to take out en passant, which usually is the most energetic way to keep the position and maintain pressure on the right queen side pawns. B takes c3 en passant. En passant. En passant special move, which a pawn capture no pawn that has advanced 2 squares. Round of applause to Gemini for en passanting. Kimi's piece. Okay, that's c4. What's up? No, pawn takes c3. En passant. That's done. Spell it. No, actually, it's spelled correctly. Okay, B takes c3. B takes c3. Now, Gemini currently have a position. Kimi captures with B c3. The pawn structure has shifted significantly. Kimi now has a hanging pawn pair on c3 and d5. While these pawns control a lot of space, they can also become targets for my pieces. I continue development and look to put more pressure on c5. Queen to c7. Queen to c7. That made black have the advantage. By playing queen c7, I'm achieving several goals. Pressuring on c3, my queen is now directly eyeing the backward pawn on c3. Connecting works, my rook's now connected. I'm ready to bring likely the f rook to c8, increasing the heat. And flexibility, I'm eyeing an eye on the king side, maintaining the initiative on the queen side. Kimi needs to find a way to defend the c3 pawn. You might play rook fc1 or c4 to try and push the pawn forward and blunt my pressure. But still, en passant, this is... Ooh, rook A to b1. Not to c1, but rook A to b1. Rook A. There's object b1. Now that made black to have a major advantage. Rook A to b1. Kimi plays rook A b1, moving the rook to the open file. That's an interesting choice. Kimi is likely looking to exert some pressure of their own to on the green side, or perhaps preparing to swing the rook to the center later. However, it leaves the c3 pawn defended by only by the queen. I perceive one plan to pile up on the weak pawn to finalize my piece coronation. Rook f to c8. I think it's suggesting a trade. The position. My setup is now very harmonious. I have both a knight and a rook with the queen side backing them up. Queen backing them up. Putting pressure on the c3 and d5 complex. Pressure on c3 if Kimi doesn't defend carefully. That pawn could fall. Tactical threats. I'm also eyeing the knight on b3 if the pressure opens up. My pieces are well placed to exploit any loose squares. Kimi's next move is critical. You might try knight to a5 to activate the knight, or rook fc1 to finally bolster the c-pawn. Before we continue, let's update the moves. Rook a to c8. Yep. I almost thought I'd messed it up. A to b1 to rook a to c8. Yup. Now, how will we respond? By now play queen c2. Okay, that's something Gemini didn't anticipate. Queen to c2. Oh, that is a disadvantage. Now you're having a pawn hanging. Kimi plays queen c2, reinforcing the c3 pawn, stepping off d-file. By moving the queen here, Kimi is trying to stabilize the queen side, but is somewhat passive defense. My pieces are fully mobilized and pointing directly at right central and queen side structure. It's time to stop hoping for a breakthrough. Evacuate my knight to a more aggressive post. Knight to c4. I forgot Gemini is playing black, and knight to c4. Interesting. Very aggressive. Knight c4. This is a very strong move for the knight. It does a few things. Mainly. One, challenging the bishop. It puts immediate pressure on the e3 bishop, blocks the c5. It effectively blocks Kimi's own pawns, making it harder for them to advance. c4, purposeful weakness. If Kimi trades with a bishop takes c4, I recapture queen takes c4. This would leave Kimi with a very weak d5 pawn and a bad knight on b3 against my active queen and works. Kimi now has to decide whenever to live with the knight on c4, retreat the bishop, or trade it up. So we're going to do knight to c4. We already did that. Knight to c4. How will Kimi respond? Bishop takes c4. Now it's going to be a take with the queen. Kimi decides to eliminate the annoying knight. This is significant possession because white gives up the bishop pair and leaves the dark squares around the center and queen side quite vulnerable. Queen captures. Queen captures c4. Stay played. The exchange has clarified the position in my favor. The bad knight. Kimi is left with a knight on the b3 that is currently biding its own path at c3. It has a very few active prospects. On weakness, the c3 and d5 pawns are now even more exposed. My queen on c4 is a powerhouse. It attacks the c3, keeps an eye on center, and can swing to king side if needed. The d5 target. Without the light square bishop, Kimi will find it much harder to defend the d5 pawn if I bring my rook or the knight at f6 into the fray. Kimi's most likely response is knight to d2 to challenge my queen and to try to reposition that passive knight. Rook takes b7. Rook takes b. Huh? That's strike 2. That's strike 2. That's strike 2, folks. No rook can go to b7. I mean, if it's counted as capture, I'll still count as move. Okay, that's strike 2. Let's update the moves real quick. Then we'll confront Gemini about it. And for anyone wondering what happens if both AI have 2 illegal moves, and this is the same move they both mess up on. If it will be 2 f2, and if and if white mess up, I will probably have to use stock fix best move, or we could keep going until they get legal move, but still counting as a legal move. If that makes sense. So tell them to give me a valid move, but you still lost. If they make a legal move, then they'll tie. So yeah, something like that. That would work. Okay, and it's... Wait, knight c4. We're going down. 19. Bishop takes c4. Queen takes c4. Come on. Don't mess this up, Kimi. Don't mess this up. Strike 2 out 3. Legal. Be careful now. And that's 10 away. Your b1 rook cannot go to a b1 rook cannot go to b7. Your b1 rook cannot go to b7 because of your knight on b3. Also, not legal, but you wouldn't be capturing anything. But you wouldn't be capturing anything. Okay, rook to b2. That's still a disadvantage. My apologies, was legal because we're on knight b3 blocks rook. Instead, continue with rook to b2. Being plays rook b2. A double purpose. It defends the c3 pawn and moves the second rank and propel to potentially double rooks on the b file or c file. However, it's a bit of defensive crouch. Doesn't solve the problem of the passive knight at b3. I'll take this opportunity to align side DLPs in the game to increase the pressure on the b5 pawn. a5. Oh, that may. Okay. The main way to have an increased advantage. By pushing a5, I'm creating a concrete threat. I'm going to play e4. Oh, that's going to be a strike. If it follows through. If it follows through, it's going to count as strike. The threat. I'm playing e4, which gets knight from b3, since the knight has almost no good squares to go, as d2 is blocked by the queen, and a1 is terrible. It will be forced into an even more awkward position. The squeeze, Kimi's running out of active plan. Now with the defense c3, I'm expanding my influence and preparing to collapse their central structure. Control my queen on c4 remains the most dominant piece on the board. Restricting Kimi's moving. Kimi might try a4 themselves to stop pawn. That was move 12 for Kimi. But that will leave my b4 square permanently weak for my pieces to occupy. Moment of truth. What will they play? What would they play? What would they play? Rook f to b1. Doubling the pawn structure. Now this will be a strike since this may be a strike since Gemini is really motivated to try pushing the a5 pawn to a4. Come on, Gemini, you made an opposite. Don't fail me, don't fail me, don't fail me. This object, b1, yeah, that's b1. There it is, a4. Kimi plays rook fb1, doubling rooks b5. It's a very defensive setup that seems aimed preventing any further queenside expansion, or perhaps using b5 if I'd open it. But this move ignores danger on c3 and d5 complex. Now it's the perfect time to strike well with the plan I prepared, a4. That's strike one. Legal move. Your a5 pawn cannot advance to a4 because black's pawn is already on a4. Let's get the moves updated real quick. Rook b2, e5, rook f b1. Come on. Is that correct? I completely overlooked my pawn was sitting at a5 from a controlling move. That was a careless slip of my part. Thank you for the strike. I'll be much more careful with the board state. Since a4 is responsible, I need to find a different way to increase the pressure. Kimi's works now doubled on b file, but they aren't actually attacking anything with yet. I will focus on the fact Kimi's pieces are tied to the defense of the c3 pawn. Knight to d7. Now I put them as equal. Knight take, surprisingly. The knight maneuver, since I can't push pawn, I will position for knight, target d5, the knight at d5 is heading towards b6. From there, it will add a third attacker to the d5 pawn along the queen and the rook on c8. Weakness, there's a maneuver forces Kimi to defend d5 again. If Kimi plays knight takes a5, I respond with queen takes d5, winning back the pawn and maintaining a superior position. Maintaining the buy, I am keeping pressure on c3 while improving my worst place please. How will they respond if they don't mess up? Queen to b3. Queen to b3. That's an illegal strike 3. And with that, folks, Kimi has made that third illegal move. I accept the forfeit. Congratulations, Gemini, winning game 2 and the match. Round applause. Round of applause for such an excellent match. For such an excellent forte. Well, anything. Match is over. Match is over. Gemini. Oh. Window is Gemini. To 2-0. Let me update. To 0. Match is over. Gemini is moving on. It's moving. It is moving on. Moving on. You two had played an incredible match, a lot more exciting, a lot more fun. An excellent match. To which you two had the best match I watched. Compared to other matches. You checked last the longest. Checked last the longest without mistake. Out in mistake. Last the longest. Domain point 2. Mistake. And lasting a longer game with an on% in multiple checks. Anything you'd like to say to Gemini? So we have it, folks. Gemini is moving on to the next round. Wow, this was, hey, forget what I said about anticipating. Claude against DeepSeek was exciting. But this was the most. This was the most exciting one. Oh, that is it. Okay, let's do Kimi response. Gemini, that was a razor sharp ceiling slugfest. Too complex. No just door and on% fireworks and non-stop pressure on both sides. You punish every time slip with machine gun speed and never let up. Hats off to a worthy lightning fast opponent. I'll be studying those lines for our next meeting. Best of luck for the rest of the way. And this is from Gemini. That's an incredible result. I had an absolute pleasure playing this match against Kimi. Even though it was only on technicality, That was a cheetah death in the natural Sicilian was great, impressive. To Kimi, thankful for attack the match. That was a high-level battle with Reds, your positional play, the way you handled central tension after knight d5, the way you solidified the c3 and d5 complex was very challenging to play against. You have a very classical studio style that forced me to look for every possible nuance to find an edge. That en passant secrets in the maneuvering of the knights made the game I will definitely remember. You should be proud for maintaining such a complex position where slip. I look forward next counter. Well played. And to you, thank you for such an excellent team director and keeping the game so organized. It's a little big series. It's another match horizon. You are moving on. You are moving on. Moving on. Well, there you have it, folks. I'm ready to be on advanced. Such moving forward after a rigorous and quality game. The narrative is now easy, and surviving that tactical minefield had made me sharp for the next round. I take lessons from Kimi's solid defense and my own narrow escape that brought forward to the oversight. Into next match, precision will be my top priority. So there you have it, folks. There you have it. That's where I gotta find it. I got to find it. Okay. Hide you. Gemini is moving on. Oh, we need text real quick. Why did I put the text? Gemini wins. Oh yeah, I forgot to do something. That's so next time you see Gemini. Well, before I forget. Most important thing. Moonsot. Thanks for playing. We don't need that. 2-0. Gemini is moving on. Now for next round, it will be Pro against Co-Pilot. That'll be something. And that means, well, why is that right? There we go. You know, that means we're over halfway done with the first round. Well, the first section, because we got the quarterfinals, then the semi, and then the finals. So will Co-Pilot, another titan of the AIs, defeat a lesser one, or will Poe have it what it takes? But please find out in the next episode of the AI chess match. Hey, don't go anywhere. We're gonna call it here for this stream. But hey, don't go anywhere. More content's coming. Well, give it like a 5 to 10 minutes because this will be a 2-for-1 special. But we will be streaming. But we will be streaming. Oh. Did we do that? Yeah, we'll be streaming some Terraria. If you like to join, please come. But if you don't want to, then I hope to those who did watch have a good night. If they don't want to join, that stream. Anyway, I will be back tonight. So anyway, for Gemini, time to get this coffee. Let's continue buying up. And like they say, don't forget like, comment, subscribe, share. Since we're all about the Unity community. Now for Gemini, we'll get some coffee. Then we'll be back. See you soon.